Hey, Dr. Yates, it's Christian. I'm Kyle. Today we're going to be talking about what we learned from Chapter 7 and Lecture 5. First, from Chapter 7, it was being virtuous when speaking, and there's definitely a lack of this in the world today. People are just trying to say what they feel that they should impose on the audience instead of taking in what the audience needs to hear or would like to hear. We need to speak with the fruits of the Spirit. And what are those, Kyle?
They are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
And joy is a key one, because when you're speaking, if you're not joyful, the audience isn't going to be joyful listening to you. Like Dr. Yates, you, for example, when you're speaking, I feel like you're extremely joyful, and you come in well prepared for class. I feel like everyone feels like you want to be there. You enjoy doing this, and it just makes me enjoy being there.
Servant speakers, when you do a speech, we need to be patient. We need to allow our audience to catch up and understand what we're saying instead of giving them the points and continue to give the speech. For example, I was at Passion 3 weeks ago, and there was a pastor named John Piper, and he's a really, really good pastor. However, he uses big language, and he doesn't really give time to allow the audience to understand what he's saying. So he keeps on giving point after point after point, and at one point when I was listening, I just gave up on taking notes because I was like, I can't catch up with this guy. And then also, service speakers, they need to convey kindness towards others. They also need to be gentle and be mild-mannered. Christian, isn't there a story about that?
In the book, it was talking about a college-aged man who was drunk, and there were some evangelists around, and they saw him, and instead of going to help him, they went and tried to preach to him and preach down on him. And I thought that was pretty messed up, because that's not really what we're called to do at all. They should have gone over there and helped him, and then shown just the love of Christ, because he wouldn't go over to the prostitutes and talk down upon them. So we should do that as well.
Lastly, for the reading, don't fake it. If you don't believe what you're speaking, then don't say it. There's a lot of times where I feel like people, when they give speeches, they don't believe what they're saying, and it ends up to not be a good speech. So
the audience can tell if you're faking it.
Yeah, have passion if you believe what you say, and say it. Mm-hmm. Don't fake it.
That's it. And then we're gonna move on to the lecture.
Lecture 5. All right. Lecture 5. This is all right. When you're using experiences in your speech, your experiences give credibility. They should be authentic, real life, and they should provide interest. This grabs your audience's attention more. Also, when you use facts and stats, say for instance you want stats on how many DUIs, you have to use a credible source. It has to be recent, it has to be relevant, and that's it, because no one wants a stats that is 5 years ago. Make it recent.
True.
That's basically it.
And another thing we got from it is, if you're using quotes, you want to use quotes that the audience will recognize or respect. I wouldn't quote Kyle Krause, even though I respect him. He's credible to me. But quoting someone like Theodore Roosevelt or Abraham Lincoln would be much better. You got to make sure they are real people, real places, and real events. And then another thing is, when you're telling stories, you got to act them out in colorful voice and dramatic gestures. You don't want to just stand there monotone telling a story. You want to get your audience engaged in the story and understanding what's going on. So that was Lecture 5 and Chapter 7.
Sorry for being late.
Yeah, we are.